Hello, what's up YouTube? Photographer Ronix with another. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you an easy of how you can remove distractions from your images in Photoshop. So sometimes we always bring the softbox really close so that the light can be sufficient or efficient enough to light up the subjects or the models. And in some cases, we tend to capture the softbox or even the reflectors within the photos. So you can see right now in the before, you can see a softbox right here and also the reflector, because I had to add this to reflect or bounce off the light to her legs so that they can also be evenly lit up. So I'm sure I can easily eliminate those within Photoshop. And if at all this is what you have always wanted, I request that you hit the like button on this video, because it's going to help you to push and recommend this video to many people out there. So I'm just going to request you to hit the like button on this very video. So I just come and simply delete this. So I'm just going to delete this. So after I have imported your image into Photoshop and you want to do the cleanup, simply press Ctrl J on the keyboard. You can simply press Command J on the keyboard to create a duplicate from the background layer, and simply come and get the clone stamp tool. So I prefer to use this technique because the clone stamp tool is going to enable me manually select and replace a given area. So for the settings, I'm going to be using the settings of around a hardness of around 50%, 50 to 60% rather. So 60 is okay, and opacity at 100%, the flow of 100%, the sample has to be to all layers, and aligned has to be checked. So after doing this, I'm just going to show you how you can easily copy and replace that area with a clean area, or replace that or the reflector or the softbox with a clean area. So as you're working with this, make sure the caps lock is not turned on, because when you leave the caps lock key turned on, it means that the clone stamp tool is going to be showing this cross icon, which you don't want. So you can just get the clone stamp tool. So make sure you press the caps lock key to bring back the circle that belongs to the icon for the clone stamp tool. So how to use the clone stamp tool, you simply hold down the option key on the keyboard if at all you're using Mac. Then if at all you're using Windows, you can simply press and hold down the alternate key on the keyboard. So what this does, it helps you copy. So when you hold down the alternate key on the keyboard or the option key on the keyboard and you left click, it is going to copy that area. So I'm just going to alternate and left click, and you can see that it has copied this very area. So I can easily stamp it to a way different area. You can see where we have just stamped that area. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl or Command Z. So I want to copy from this area and replace this softbox. So I'm just going to hold down the alternate key on the keyboard or the option key and left click to copy, and release the alternate key on the keyboard and simply left click over the thing I want to eliminate, and that is going to replace that. So you can see where we have just replaced. So when it comes to this softbox and the stand right here, what I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to be copying from either the left or this very area and replacing that on the reflector itself. So I'll simply come, reduce on the size by using the bracket key on the keyboard, reduce on the size of the clone stamp tool, and I'll just copy this tiny metal right here. So I'll simply come, hold down the alternate key on the keyboard and sample from this metal, and simply move and align that metallic thing so that it is in a line, and simply keep on clicking so that this can form a continuous line. But this pattern really doesn't have to be repetitive, because it's going to be quite obvious that you replace that area. So just come to this area and keep on sampling from this area, alternate and sample from the tiles, and I'll simply keep on painting. So I'll just use a slightly bigger tool, and you can see this is going to replace those areas. So I'll just sample from there. So if at all you do it wrongly, you can simply press Ctrl Z or Command Z to undo. So I'll copy from this other side and simply replace in this area, so the pattern is not a repetitive pattern. So you can simply copy from random areas and simply replace those areas. So I'm just going to be doing this. So when it comes to the grass, you can simply copy from the grass and align it and keep on clicking, and you can see that this is going to replace or do a very fine job. But what you have to take into consideration, make sure the pattern is not going to be repetitive, and you have to continue or keep on sampling from different areas. And you can see that this looks okay. So what I would do in this case, I would sample from this very area. I would sample from this very area right here, and sample from this, and continue drag it and align it so that it can be or look a little bit more natural. So I'll press Ctrl Z or Command Z. You can see that we have these other repetitive patterns. So the other way you can do that, you can reduce on the size of the clone stamp tool, and you keep on copying and replacing those areas that seem to be repetitive, so that you don't have a very repetitive pattern within the background of the image, because that may seem to be a little bit obvious. So I'm just going to get rid of this softbox above there. So this is the before after. You can see the more time you take doing this, the better it is going to get at the end of the day. So this is how to remove distractions from your images within Photoshop. And when you're done this, you can continue with the skin retouching and final adjustments on the image. So this is it for this tutorial. And if at all you have loved this, don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If at all you're watching and you're not subscribed yet to this channel, Ronix from Ronix Photography, thank you for watching, and see you in yet more amazing tutorials. And don't forget to keep practicing and also keep creating.